Do you want an accordion microphone that can do this? Nobody wants an accordion microphone that's unreliable. Feedback is one of the #1 issues when it comes to amplifying an accordion. So in this video, I'm going to talk about harmonic microphones and why they just might be the best accordion microphone on the market. Stay tuned. My name is Denny Krembliss and I'm an accordionist that goes by Squeeze and Thanks. In today's video, we're going to go over the harmonic accordion microphone system. This is the AC501-HQ and why I think this is one of the best systems you can get for your instrument. We're going to go over a little bit about harmonic. We're going to talk about the reasons why you would want to choose a harmonic accordion microphone system for your accordion. We're going to go over some sound samples so you can see what it's like, and we'll also do a brief installation where you can kind of see what the process is like if you plan on doing this yourself. So according to Harmonic's website, Jonathan Del Monte, both an accordionist and engineer, back in 2012 wanted to come up with a system that pretty much met the needs of struggling accordionists. Accordionists had been, struggling to find the perfect system that gives them reliability, sound quality, ease of use. This is a package where you're going to get all three. You plug it in, you're good to go. It's pretty much that simple. You might have to adjust the knobs a little bit to balance your treble to your bass, but that's it. Plug it in, you're good to go. The sound quality is phenomenal. They use high fidelity microphones that pick up the lows, the highs, and everything in between. The last thing is reliability. They figured out a way to reduce feedback, and not only reduce it, but practically eliminate it. This is the one system on the market that doesn't give you feedback. Feedback is when you're playing your accordion, it's being pumped out of the speaker. Sometimes there's a monitor on stage facing you so you can hear yourself, and it's going through that mesh into your chamber, and that microphone is picking it up and it creates these feedback loops, and you can't have that. So these directional microphones focus on the reeds, omit everything else, and it's really an amazing system. So let's see how it sounds. All right, sound quality. I have two clips that I want to share with you real quick that'll give you an idea of what this could sound like in a concert situation. This isn't very technical. Take it for what it's worth. There's backing tracks. There's my drummer. This was shot from two different cameras. We have this camera right here, the Sony ZV-1, a great vlogging camera. We have a mic on top. It's pretty much a front-facing sound capture. We also have clips shot from cell phones. That's a little bit more omnidirectional, I feel like, so it's getting a little bit more of a wider scope. Take it for what it's worth. This isn't very technical. This is, it is what it is, but let's dive in. So that'll give you an idea of what it could sound like in a concert situation. Again, this isn't a technical comparison, the sound quality is what it is. It's, being shot through speakers. There's a lot of variables, but it is what it is. Right now, I'm gonna set up my accordion, plug it into an amp, and we'll see what happens. All right, so I have everything set up. I have my bass just a little bit lower than my treble. The volume on this is at about 65%. EQ is set to middle all the way across. Reverb is off, and the camera is about 6 feet away or so. I'm gonna go ahead and mess with the EQ a little bit. Normally I'll bring up the treble, I'll bring down the mids just a little bit, and then I like to bring up the bass a little bit as well. I'm also gonna turn up the reverb to maybe 15%. Okay, and right now I'm going to turn the speaker around and give it the feedback stress test. Nothing, not a lick of feedback. I'm like 4 inches away from it, not a lick of feedback. That is insane. I wasn't expecting it to be that good, but that's really, really good. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think this sounds phenomenal. I'm so used to using my Roland accordions for all my recording needs. It's simple, you plug in a USB, you hit record, there's no interference, it's very, very clean. But after hearing this, I would argue that the electric accordion is almost too clean. The only problem with that is you lose the characteristics of what makes an accordion an accordion. You know, the nuances, the clacks of the buttons. There's something very charming about this sound, something that I haven't experienced yet because I've only used an electric accordion. So I've never used my accordion with this interface. This is the first time I've done it. I'm doing it for this review. If you guys are enjoying this, give the like button a little boop. That'll send it out to more accordionists so they can see this video. But yeah, guys, I'm really stoked on this. I think this could be a viable option for recording in the future. All right, the installation. This was definitely scary for me. I've never cracked open my accordion and did work on it like this. This was a little bit nerve-wracking for someone who's never done this before. Going into it, yeah, 10 out of 10. I was so scared. Looking back on it, 6.5, maybe a 7. It wasn't too hard, but I did have the help of Sebastian Bravo. He's an accordionist and repairman from Chile, and he wound up coaching me through it for like 4 hours on a video chat. I couldn't have done it without him. Sebastian, thank you so much, man. I had to stock up on a few supplies before I did this. I needed some screwdrivers. I also needed a hot glue gun and some glue sticks. I needed a set of pliers or wire cutters. I also had to buy a soldering iron and some solder. I haven't done this soldering thing since like middle school in like tech class. It wasn't that bad. Trust me, it really wasn't too hard to do. At certain points of the installation, you may feel inclined to use a drill to make some of the holes. I would stay away from that if you can afford to. Pick up one of these Dremels off of Amazon. I think it was only like 20 bucks, maybe 30 bucks. This is something that you're gonna wanna use instead. It's a little bit safer. The drill bit could, you know, go all over the place, especially on the grill. Stay away from the drill if you can. If you wanna do this yourself, consider the fact that you might damage your system and you could void your warranty. This is meant for a professional to install, so if you damage this, you might be out some money. So I took a chance. Sebastian assured me that everything would be okay, and sure enough, everything was okay. But for the most part, I have some of the steps to prep you if you want to do this yourself. If you want to have a professional do it, you could go over to Liberty Bellows. You could bring the kit to them. They'll do a mic install for $200. If you buy the mic from them, they'll take off $100. If you buy the mic and the accordion, they'll waive the fee altogether, so it's free. So consider that. But yeah, let's hop into the video. So this is an overview of the package and what you get. Normally this comes with 5 microphones. If you're doing this yourself, you can cut it at the 4 or cut it at the 3 to fit your grill. This was gonna be 3. I spoke with Jonathan about all of this and he was able to cut it and solder it for me from the beginning, so that made it a little bit easier. The first step, I wound up using pliers and removed the pins for my accordion. I used a piece of tape and taped each of the pins next to the hole. You don't want to switch these up and get them confused. Some pins might be a little bit thicker than others and that'll create leaks in your accordion. So I just taped it next to each of the holes and that made it a little bit easier to keep track of. I started by removing the keyboard section first, and from there I removed the grill. Now that I have the grill off, I had to figure out where I was putting the volume control knobs. I couldn't just put them anywhere because with the register switches, there was a little bit of peripheral area that would have gotten in the way, so I had to determine where would be a good spot to run those knobs. I brought the microphone system out to kind of see where everything was going to sit. When you're handling this, you want to be very careful. You don't want to, disrupt anything too much. So if you're handling it, handle it with caution. Also, with the grill being off now, you're able to determine where you're going to put the jack. The jack went on the side of the accordion and I needed to make sure that none of the keys would come up and touch it. So that's something you want to be very careful of. I had enough room. Not all accordions are the same, so you're going to have to use your best discretion. And again, reach out to Jonathan. He'll be able to help you out and determine what the best solution is for your accordion. This is where I started using the Dremel, and this is the Dremel bit I wound up using, the pointy one. Sebastian had me Dremel out the side first, because if you make a mistake, it's less noticeable than right on the front of the grill. So he wanted me to get adjusted to all of this on the side first. So if I made any mistakes with the Dremel, it's not as noticeable as on the grill. So if you are gonna do this, maybe do it on the side first. You're going to want to start with a smaller hole and make it bigger as needed. Take a little bit off here and there. You don't want to do too much at a time, but just a little bit here and there. After I got the holes drilled using the Dremel, I wound up attaching the knobs and getting the microphone system in place. At first, I wound up sticking the microphone system symmetrically. I thought that was going to be okay, but I didn't realize that not all tones are created equal. The lower ones are louder by nature. The upper register, the higher ones, those are a little quieter. I had to heat stuff up with a hairdryer to get the sticky warm, and I was able to lift it off and then reposition it, favoring the higher notes. So keep that in mind. It's something you might need to know. You might not, but that's something I dealt with. I began connecting some of the cables. I don't remember if I left them connected or if I was just testing things, but a lot of this is very self-explanatory. You'll see, right where the things connect, right where it, if you connect it the wrong way, you'll know. They did a good job with keeping it relatively easy in that regard. All right, and now it came time to remove the bass strap. After you remove the bass strap, you're going to remove the panel, exposing all of the intricate metal wires and all the, I don't even know what you would call it, the button mechanics. It's pretty intense, but everything is organized and you're able to just pop out these structures one at a time. I had to pull out the first one, but I was able to leave the second one in. And from there, I was able to access a section inside the base where I was going to mount the battery. It comes with a little sleeve that the 9-volt battery will sit in. I found a good spot for it off to the side, and that's where I mounted it. And again, I removed some more of the pins and took the bellows off. And using my Dremel, I created a hole in the wood. And from there, I had to use the soldering iron to unsolder some of the leads. Keep in mind that you're going to have to line those up exactly the same way that they were. And that wire was going to be fed through the wood towards the middle of the accordion where the bellows are. One thing you want to keep in mind when soldering, you're going to feel inclined to blow on it to get it to harden quicker. Don't do that. Sebastian told me not to do that. That'll make it very brittle and it could break. You want to heat up the soldering iron, get a good little bead of solder on there, solder it back on to where you took it off. Let it just dry on its own. If you have a fan going, you might want to turn the fan off for this step because you don't want it to cool too quickly. And right here I used a piece of tape to hold the wire against this piece of wood right here and just left the tape like that. This is painter's tape. Probably could have used something else, but it seemed to work fine. And using the Dremel once again, I drilled a hole through the aluminum part of the keyboard side. All accordions are going to be different. Yours might have aluminum, it might be wood. This one had aluminum. And then I used that other drill bit that I was telling you about that was a little rough, and I cleaned up the edges just by going over it a little bit, just to take any of the sharpness off so it doesn't hurt the wire. And again, now that we have this hole drilled on the second side, we're going to do the same thing. Unsolder the leads on the one side, fish the wire through, and solder the leads back on in the exact order in which you took them off. And now is a good time to fill up the rest of that hole with a little bit of hot glue. Take some hot glue and close up that hole from both sides and make sure no air can get through it. You're going to want to do that on the bass side as well. And this is where I went to town with the hot glue gun on the grill. I tried my best to hide all the wires as best I could. I don't have an overhead view for this. This is the best angle I got. Again, my camera was dying, but yeah, I did my best to capture as much as I could. And it looks like right here, I took all the wires and connected it in this little corner to keep everything tidy. And right here is where I connected the battery finally. And this is where I mounted the crazy bass button configuration back into the accordion. I installed the plate once again, and then finally installed the hand strap. Now that I had almost everything put back together, I connected that scrunchy coil wire, and I think that was one of the last steps I needed to do. To keep that coil cable from jumping all over the place inside the bellows, I had to take this little mount and mount the wire on one section of the accordion, and that was one of the last few steps. I put everything back together, all the pins in their respective holes. The last part was plugging it in, crossing my fingers, and hoping that everything worked. It works. We did it. It only took us 4 hours to do it.
I'm so happy for you, bro.
Man, I couldn't have done it without this guy. My favorite step of all of this was putting the harmonic badge on the bass side of my accordion. Yeah, that was just a badge of honor at that point. That was 4 hours of work. Huge shout out to Sebastian Bravo. If you guys don't know who he is, he's an amazing accordionist, an amazing repairman. Check him out. I'll leave his link to Instagram right here so you can follow him. He also gives lessons and does classes online, so if you are interested in, learning how to fix accordions and work on accordions, he's your guy. In terms of value, this is a $400 microphone system, the AC501-HQ. Factoring in the install, it might be another $100, $200, depending where you're at. $500 or $600. Is it worth it? Absolutely. You don't have to worry about the things you would worry about with other systems, and that is a huge, huge benefit. So in conclusion, the Harmonic accordion microphone system is one of the best systems you can get for your accordion. It just works. The reliability, the sound quality, the ease of use, it really is a system that I think you'll truly, truly enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click the subscribe button. Join me on this journey of, bringing you cool accordion videos. If you want to check out a playlist right here, I have some other educational stuff that you'll want to check out, so be sure to do that. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next one.